All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. It's about 9:30, September 13th, 2022, and finally lowering humidity. It was a brutal day after some showers and thunderstorms in the early morning. Some of them were severe, and then there's some more storms that ended up popping up over Connecticut. All has now moved away, but we're going to start with looking exactly what happened last night. Starting around 4 a.m., you can see this batch of showers and thunderstorms coming off over central New Jersey, and this is why we had to do that weather update in the middle of like the early morning hours, because the storm literally went over the North Shore here, and these areas got a lot of rain. We're going to show you how much rain they got. It was tremendous amounts of rain in these areas, of course, not over the Pine Barrens, of course, but over the North Shore, and there was some couple of loud thunderclaps here, but most of the action was just to our north. You can see here's this 5:30. We are now moving into 6 o'clock. You can see again it's moving across the North Shore of Suffolk and some smaller cells on the south end of it. Here we are at 6:30. Kind of starts to get a decent line again around going from Port Jefferson down to, I would say, Islip. And then as it moves east, it kind of the southern part kind of breaks apart again. Here we're at 7 a.m. Northern part still holding together. That's bringing those areas at least a good amount of rain. Here we are at 7:40, and you'll see again the North Shore is getting it. There's another cell that popped up out over the South Fork there. Here we are at 8 o'clock, 8:50, 9:20. And then you can see this is actually a severe line. You can see it's almost bowing here. This is 10 o'clock now that we got, right? And then that finally moves away. It does linger over the South Fork a little bit. So at least they picked up a little more rain over the South Fork. You can see it lingering over the South Fork. Here we are at 12. So they could have some decent rainfall totals over there. And then as we get into the afternoon, we have the sun, hazy sun, extremely humid conditions. And then the dry front comes through. We'll say dry front. Well, it'll be cooler too, I guess. It will drop the temperatures. But you'll see here we got 3. You can see some more storms firing off to the north. 4 o'clock. Some more storms, one right over there around Westchester County. And those wind up moving over Connecticut. Here we are, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this evening. And you can see all the action pretty much to the north. And you can see the clouds in the late afternoon hours here. We have a couple of pictures here to show you. You can see, again, some cumulus here when just before the winds changed to the west. And then this was the thunderstorm over Connecticut here, taken from a distance. You can see it's a pretty hefty cumulonimbus cloud over there. But as far as the rainfall totals, we're going to get to that in a moment. But first, let me show you. Let's look for some storm reports, because there was actually some flash flooding from this. If we look at the weather service here, you'll see they had some. We had quite a soaker overnight. Some areas. Did the storms wake you up? Yes, they did. You can see here. Here's an image of the rainfall totals. And you can see again where the heaviest rain was, going from central New Jersey over Staten Island, up western and northern parts of Queens, North Shore of Nassau, North Shore of Suffolk. And then there was another little area here that developed over. At least some of the Pine Barrens got some of the rain, but most of it was to the north. And we didn't really see any of the heaviest rain on the South Shore, which is the area that got hit very hard here. And you can see there were flash flood warnings. Again, this was overnight, so there was definitely some flash flooding from this storm here. And let's look at let's see if we can get some storm reports here. And I'm sure they'll have some storm reports. They should have a public information or a storm report from these storms. Let's see. Here we go. So here's the list of flash floodeds here. So there was one on the Hutchinson River Parkway. Again, this was 4:03 this morning. Elmhurst flooding on Queens Boulevard at 5 a.m. LIE eastbound near 60th Street in Queens, all lanes closed due to flooding. This was 5:02. Bayside, a flash flood on I-295 northbound by Northern Boulevard. Another flash flood in Bayside. So these are the areas that were hit hard. In Newark, there was a flash flood as well, and lightning damage to a house in Lyndhurst. And there was also flooding in Great Neck that they're not mentioning here. And they might have a public information statement for them. No, they don't have that. But we'll go over those rainfall totals in a moment here. But there was some flash flood reports. If we check the news here, we got to go to News 12, I guess, because they actually did cover it. Let's see if we can find it first of all here. Yeah, Great Neck homeowners fed up with flooding. So they had some flooding in Great Neck on the North Shore. Again, some of those areas too. So yeah, they've had flooding in in some areas, and I know the city was also affected with some flooding too as well. Made for a mess. Let's see if any of the TV stations in the city are talking about those storms this morning. Let's see. Nope, don't see anything about it. All right, well, I gave you all the information I could. Let's go now take a look at the latest conditions outside right now. And you'll see the winds have shifted now to the west. The humidity has dropped. So at 73 at Farmingdale, dew point is now 52. Now compare that to the way it was earlier. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this, and you'll see just how humid it was. You can see the dew points just dropping very rapidly there. All right, so earlier on, we had dew points generally in the 70s, low 70s, dew points and temperatures in the low 80s. So it was pretty humid and pretty stifling with the southwest wind. And then when the wind shifted right around a little bit before 8 o'clock, wind shifted to the west, and the dew point started dropping very rapidly. And now you can see dew points now in the 50s. So, yeah, much better, significant relief with this much drier air that has come in to the area. And again, if we look at the dew points and the temperatures here, you will see here, we load this in here, you see the dew points. Out east, it's still holding on to a little humidity. It'll start dropping out there. You can see we got dew points in the 50s, Nassau County, even some 40-degree dew points. And New Jersey also in the 50s as well with dew points as well. So let's go take a look at what our highs were for the day, and then we'll look at our precipitation totals. So first we're going to go look at the high temperatures for the day. And you'll see across Long Island, low 80s, a little warmer in New Jersey with mid 80s, but I'll tell you, the humidity just made it just unbearable today. The humidity was very high, and, very bad. And also, allergies are absolutely through the roof today. If you're raise your hand if you have absolutely terrible allergies today. Sinuses, just pounding. But anyway, let's go look at the precipitation next. So we're going to go here, and we're going to look at the amount of precipitation we had in the last 24 hours, I guess. Fair enough. Look at that. So you'll see where the higher amounts are, and we'll also go to the other site and you'll see again where the higher amounts are. So you'll see those North Shore areas got into the higher amounts there. 1+ inches here. We got 3/4 of an inch. We'll take it. South Shore didn't get nearly as much, but there were areas that really got pounded, as you see, Great Neck, Bayside. Those storms kind of sat over them and produced all this heavy rain. And the same thing as we go into central New Jersey, you'll see also that these storms kind of just sat over those areas, and just the rain just came pounding down that whole time there. And, at least they got some rain. You can see that, but it's always the same areas that get it. The South Shore never seems to get anything, and that's where the drought is at its worst, is on the South Shore. So let's go to the underground site. We'll be able to show you more precipitation amounts here as well. So you get an idea of how much rainfall fell across the area. And we'll we'll start here on the central Nassau County. You can see this is showing 1/2 to 1/4 of an inch of rain. And then look at this. You go into Bayside. I like this because this is showing from as of midnight. So you can see 2.62, 2.29. They had flooding in these areas here. Bayside, northern Queens really got hit very hard. There was a lot of flooding. 2.27, Long Island, 2.74 in Long Island City. So you can see Long Island City getting hit hard. Parts of lower Manhattan. Brooklyn as well. You can see here Park Slope getting over 2 inches all the way down. And then when you go down to Coney Island, barely anything. So it goes. Once you get down to the South Shore, it's like nothing. Nothing is like, it's crazy, So looking at Long Island, you'll see, all right, around Hicksville, looks like they got around 1 inch. Heading into the North Shore, Nassau County. Let's see what we got here. 2.46 is in Port Washington. 2.48 in Great Neck. Glen Cove, 2.48. I even see a 3-inch amount there. So these areas just got pounded with rain. It's not really, the drought is really on the North Shore. It's pretty much over, but for the rest of the island, it continues. See, even Huntington there, Northport, the usual suspects, as I say, getting the rain. Whereas, again, here in the South Shore is barely anything here. Massapequa, nothing. It's like 0.1, it's nothing. All right. And then as you go into Deer Park, I see a 2.88. This may be erroneous. That would be wishful thinking, and I think that's erroneous. So we've got maybe 1/2 an inch from it. Smithtown, not that much either. We have to go a little further north. But then there was another cell that popped up around this part of Suffolk County, the Suffolk area here, and this actually did wind up getting the Pine Barrens a little bit. So you see over an inch in places like Lake Grove, I Rice, Islip Ronkonkoma Airport as well. But they didn't go to the South Shore again. Not that much. All right, and you go further north, same deal. Further north, the middle wound up getting pretty decent though this time. So over an inch, 1.21 over there in Medford, and then as you go toward the Pine Barrens, which is really where things matter, you'll see here you see 1+ inch amounts around Rocky Point. So that's very good. That area got some rain as well as Calverton as well. 1.44, 1.34 by Lake Panamoka, 1.38. So we'll take that. Obviously, Wading River, 1.41. So they got some, again, but it's the northern end of the Pine Barrens. Once you go to the southern end, barely anything. Again, nothing at Shirley, nothing at West Hampton. This whole area got nothing. But I noticed once you get out toward Hampton Bays, I see some .4 amounts here. So another cell may have gotten Hampton Bays yesterday. And then North Fork also, I see some 1 inch amounts. And then I'm curious to look at the South Fork here. Yep, because the South Fork also picked up some of the areas like around Sag Harbor, got over an inch. And Nappy, where all that devastation is occurring with the beetles, 0.3 inches. But then again, see, they didn't get that much. But then you go over here, and it's look at this, 1 to 2 inches. So it's just very localized where these storms happen, and they just don't want to. They want to move that southwest to northeast faster, which never favors the South Shore when you have that type of setup, and that's why you don't see that much. 0.69 in Montauk. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looked like. And again, if you go into Westchester, also heavily hit. Connecticut, 1-2 inches. Plenty of rain in those areas. They're not in a drought anymore. They've been getting some good storms, but a lot of us, especially the South Shore, and absolutely nothing in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. But there you go. That's what a look. Let's a look at what we pretty much had for the rain. So let's go take a look at our models, and we'll see that this will be clearing out. And now the next chance for rain won't be for a while. High pressure starts building in. We have a dry day tomorrow, sunshine, and then another little front comes through, brings us cooler weather for Thursday. See that high again building to the north. This is a thing that we have a lot now. The highs don't build straight down. When they used to build straight down to the Great Lakes and build in Ohio, Pennsylvania, now they kind of slide by the north again because of that messed up jet stream pattern. So that means that we'll have a northerly winds becoming northeasterly, I guess, on Friday. And that'll keep us cooler. And then we stay dry again. Here we are right through the weekend. No rain. We'd have to wait until maybe next week to get some rain chances in. Maybe. But you can see it's still going to stay rather dry. So let's take a look at the latest HRRR model. We'll start with the dew points here. And we have up to... Gee, I don't need to use the HRRR. Let's just use the GFS. It makes life easier because I don't have that much of the HRRR, and I really don't need it. So here we go into tomorrow, and you'll see the dew points come down. We have dew points generally in the 50s, west winds, but then you'll see another little front come through tomorrow night that's going to drop the dew points temperatures even more. So much drier air, northwest winds on Thursday, Friday as well, becoming northerly, and then eventually becoming southerly, and that'll bring a slight increase in the humidity by the weekend here. You'll see humidity levels start to increase, especially as we get to Sunday and next week. You'll see that humidity come back, and then we're back in that humidity again next week. All right, so let's go take a look at our temperatures. So our temperatures for tomorrow. Tonight we will probably drop down into the probably 60s, and then tomorrow we'll have highs generally 75 to 80. Still a little bit above normal tomorrow, but when that secondary cold front comes through, you'll see that temperatures Thursday will be colder, and we'll have highs only in the mid 70s. Much cooler, more comfortable day. And then for Friday, you see here, you have it'll drop down in the morning. We'll probably have lows in the 50s for a lot of areas. 40s props in the Pine Barrens. I don't think the alley's going to get that cool, of course. You know, yeah. If I didn't have that, I'd be able to turn off the AC, but not where I'm living, unfortunately. It's got to be. You got to have highs in the 60s, no higher than 70, and then I can finally turn off the AC in here. That's how cool it has to be. But anyway, here we are Friday, highs in the mid 70s. And then by the weekend, you see things start to heat up again. Saturday, Sunday, especially dealing with mid 80s. So we're going to still have hot weather. It looks like hot weather next week to kick it off. Could be near 90 again. So yeah, next week looks kind of on the hot side. So it's going to be a hot week, unfortunately, next week until we wait for this next cold front to come through, which should be later in the week. So let's go take a look at the skies next. And of course, this is going to be subjective. Now, here's the GFS, and you can see it has us kind of on the edge of some cirrus tomorrow. But it is Thursday that we push this cirrus aside. That's when we really get into the much cooler air. It'll be more comfortable. And then for Friday, we should also be mostly sunny as well. And then Saturday, we'll start seeing some more of those high clouds kind of streaming in there. Of course, this is the GFS. It's a lower resolution model for the skies. Let's go to something high res. Well, this is the FV3, which is the high res version of the GFS for skies. And you'll see here, the cirrus is, it kind of keeps us mostly sunny. So I think we'll have a good, mostly sunny day tomorrow. And then Thursday, that's just a mistake there. You see, Thursday is probably going to be the clearest sky. However, there is a caveat, which we'll get to, and that's the smoke, and we'll get to that in a moment. So here we are for tomorrow, and again, clear skies. That cirrus could just brush us a little bit, especially southern New Jersey, east end, maybe a little bit, but other than that, it should be fairly sunny. Thursday should be hardly any clouds at all, and then Friday, we also should have hardly any clouds at all as well. But the wild card, of course, remains the smoke. So let's go first start with the MODIS satellite, and you'll see here's all that smoke here. So we're going to have to wonder if this smoke is going to wind up making it into our area or not. Because it certainly looks like if the flow is from this direction to this direction, from the west to the east, then this smoke might wind up getting into our area. However, if it's from Canada and from the north, then we may not have to deal with it. You can see this is all coming from, again, all those fires out west, which they're finally getting some handle on. They've had a little more moisture, and the winds have been cooperating, thank God. But anyway, let's now go to this model here, which is the HRRR vertically integrated smoke. And I'm hoping that this has refreshed a little more. We only have about 15 hours of this, really. All right, it's like almost 10 o'clock, should be here. All right, well, we'll go take a look at it, and we'll see what happens. This is the vertically integrated smoke model, and we'll see. We only have until... So we have to see if this is going to wind up getting into our area. So it's very hard to say what's going to happen here. The more north and the east you are, the better off you'll be to get away from this smoke. But we're going to have to see what happens. This is all we have of the model. It looks like tomorrow we shouldn't have to deal with it, but I'm only getting up to about 15Z. So what I could do, perhaps, maybe we could take an older run. And let's see, we got an older run here. So the 0Z run, let's see. I believe it's a 10Z run. There's no 12Z. All I have is a 10Z run. That's not going to help us at all. Well, there goes. Yeah, we got a lot of missing data on here, so I don't know what's going on. This is awful. All right, well, there's only one other model I could possibly try to use with the smoke, which is this model here, which is the clear sky clock. And what we could do, and it's not really showing the smoke here. One of them. Sometimes it'll bring a smoke map. Sometimes it'll have a smoke map, but it's not doing it now. You could look at the transparency. Well, yeah, I don't see the actual smoke map here. I don't know why it's not showing. Sometimes it'll show up. Let's see. I could probably get it from some other site here. Let's see. Yeah, let's get it from Chicago. So it'll pull up the. Nope, it's not giving it this. So I don't know. Maybe it's using the same model. So I don't know where the smoke models are. There's one other model I could use for the smoke. That would be the Earth, the old school model. That's that I'm kind of out of options at this point. Afterwards, so we go to particles. The problem is this is surface, and it's not vertically integrated. So that's the problem. So that is a problem. It's not really going to help us. Yeah, that's not going to help us. We need that vertically integrated smoke. That's really what we need. But unfortunately, just not getting it. It's really, yeah, we're supposed to have, this is what it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go out 48 hours, and we're missing models, and they don't have the old, they don't have any of the old runs here, I notice, which sucks. They have the one from yesterday, but that's not going to help us. That's only going to go as far, alright, alright. We'll have to use the one from yesterday, which is an old model, but let's take a look at the one from yesterday. It's very annoying not to have the access to this model. Really annoying that it hasn't loaded yet. I don't know why it's so slow. And see, this isn't even loading. Yeah, so, yeah. Doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get the smoke forecast for you. I do apologize for that. There's nothing I could do. It does not seem like this is not even loading. All right, here we go. Let's see. Does it get? Yeah, it looks like it tries. Oh, yeah. We could wind up getting into it. Yeah, it's showing on the very last frame, a wave of smoke that would come through around Thursday. No, it would be, let's see, no, this is Friday. This would be Wednesday. This would be tomorrow. So it showed the smoke coming in here tomorrow around the late afternoon, early evening hours, ahead of that front. And then when the front comes through, it would sweep the smoke away. So we'll have to see. Again, this is an old model. Again, I wish I could give you the latest model here. It sucks that this is all that they have on this particular run here. And it seems like they're just missing data, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, that's it for this weather update. Have a good night, and thanks for watching.